Boris Johnson will have to intervene in Brexit talks this summer with the European Union after the two sides failed to show signs of progress in the latest round of negotiations. Following 3 days of virtual negotiations this week, the UK and EU have said the sides remain deadlocked on core elements of the trade deal, including access to Britain's fishing grounds and future alignment to the bloc's regulations. However, tentative signs of progress have emerged in other areas such as security cooperation and trade in goods. But no major breakthrough looked possible because of the EU demands that Britain sign up to a regulatory level playing field for competition rules and environmental and labour standards. Mr. Johnson will now have to personally take charge of the trade negotiations with Brussels in order to convince the bloc to move away from the hardline mandate handed to Michel Barnier, the EU chief Brexit negotiator, by its member states. Briefings by the EU-UK teams are expected to take place at midday. The Prime Minister is set to meet EU Presidents Ursula von der Leyen and Charles Michel later this summer in what could be one of the first face-to-face meetings since the coronavirus outbreak. A date has yet to be set by both sides, but the showdown is expected to take place in mid-June. After talks last night were drawn to a close, one British official said, "I think it's fair to say we weren't expecting huge movement this week and our expectations haven't necessarily been wrong." Brussels sources have lashed out at their British counterparts, insisting the UK was dragging its feet on the bloc's level playing field demands. They added that only timid progress was made on some other areas of the trade negotiation. A news source said, "There's not necessarily a breakthrough coming soon. It's not the case just because you're discussing more minor aspects with a more positive tone that either side are shifting on the fundamentals." Mr. Johnson has remained adamant that he will not sign up to the bloc's demands, which would hand the European Court of Justice power over disputes with the UK. The Prime Minister has also ruled out extending the post-Brexit transition period when it expires at the end of the year, insisting Britain will leave the EU single market and customs union on December 31. David Frost, his chief negotiator, has been told to walk away from the negotiating table this autumn if deal with the bloc seems impossible, to instead focus on preparations for a new relationship based on minimum world trade rules with Brussels. Yesterday, Angela Merkel's ambassador to the EU said the veteran leader was planning to broker a last-minute deal with Britain to be signed off by the bloc in mid-October. Michael Klaus said the German Chancellor is preparing for a frantic 6-week negotiation with the UK in order to save talks from collapse. He told a Brussels-based think tank it was definitely possible to secure a deal, but it also means the UK needs to have a more realistic approach. The senior diplomat added, "You cannot have full sovereignty and at the same time full access to the internal market." European leaders are expected to agree to the deal at the European Council summit on October 15. Mr. Klaus said, "We hope that we will have a deal by the European Council in October. We cannot be much later because it would need to be ratified at least by the European Parliament, which needs some time." Germany will take over the EU rotating presidency next month, handing Mrs. Merkel the task of leading the bloc's agenda. The veteran leader has signalled wants to use her status to prioritise negotiations. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe our channel to receive the latest news.